All right, welcome back to Baseball for English Learners. This is episode 2, April 7th, 2015, and I'm sorry to say that we've had a loss. The Giants lost to the Arizona Diamondbacks. It was 7-6. The Giants had an early home run from Buster Posey, and that was great, right? We had another home run later from Brandon Crawford after we went down trying to come back, but we just couldn't do it. Once again, we had a problem on the base paths, and Buster Posey got thrown out at first base. Right, so that was with 2 outs late in the game, and we were really sorry that we didn't have a chance to see what might have happened. Buster Posey himself had 3 hits, so that's another positive in the game. Ryan Vogelsong pitched okay, except for those 2 home runs that he gave up, and unfortunately, each home run cost us 3 runs. So that was most of the problem in the game. We had Vogelsong pitching because the pitcher who was supposed to start, Jake Peavy, had been taken out because he has a dead arm. That means that his arm is too tired, right? His arm is not alive like it should be, and he's not pitching very well. So they gave him a couple more days rest. Now, unfortunately, another pitcher is going to be out tomorrow. Matt Cain is having some problems with his arm. He's got some soreness in his arm, some pain, and he's going to have to go on the temporary disabled list for a short time. So tomorrow they're bringing up a kid from the minors. His name is Chris Heston, and he's going to pitch tomorrow. So we'll see how they do with this guy. It's not the ideal situation for the first week, and we're sorry to be coming off of a loss and putting forward a pitcher who's uncertain. Now, my plan for the video today was to talk about our broadcasters, and I left you at the end of our first video with a question. What does Mike Krukow mean when he says ownage is ownage? Now, there was a batter up against Bumgarner, and this batter had a history with Bumgarner, right? That means that during all the times that he's hit against Bumgarner, he's had good luck, right? He's had more hits than not against this particular pitcher. So that's what they call ownage. When you own somebody, that means you beat them, right? So this guy's beaten Bumgarner enough times that he's got ownage. So when, sure enough, he gets that hit against Bumgarner, Krukow says, ownage is ownage after all, right? We expected that hit to happen because we know that when you have a history against this guy, we expect it to continue to happen that way. We expect you to keep getting hits against a guy that you have ownage against. So who is Mike Krukow? He is one of the 4 main broadcasters who are going to explain the game to you, who are going to commentate on the game. Sometimes we call them commentators. 2 are usually on TV, and 2 are usually on the radio at the same time. If you're not watching the game on TV, on CSN, which is channel 720 on my HD TV, and channel 40 on my regular TV. I also listen to the radio on KNBR 680, and sometimes I use my phone, and I use the MLB at Bat app, which you should get on your phone, right? It's a pretty cool app, and I can listen to the game because I've got a subscription to listen to the games. So if you want to listen to the game and you don't have a radio to tune in to KNBR 680 AM, you can use the At Bat app on your phone. So I was talking about Mike Krukow. He's maybe the funniest of our 4 broadcasters, and you might like him if you're interested in American slang. He likes telling lots of jokes, and he uses lots of slang words like ownage is ownage. So it can be challenging, maybe a little difficult to listen to him, but it can also be really entertaining. He was a pitcher, and he has a lot of insight into the ways that the pitchers throw the ball, all the different kinds of pitches, the fastball, the curveball, the changeup. and he can explain how the ball breaks and what the pitcher was trying to do, what the batter is expecting, and how the pitcher might try to fool the batter, all kinds of stuff like that. And in a future video, I'll talk some more about pitching. So who are the other three guys? Usually Mike Krukow is paired with Dwayne Kuiper. We call them together Kruk and Kipe because they are a famous duo as a team. They're two friends who are very famous for broadcasting together. Dwayne Kuiper is the other guy in this duo, and he was a second baseman for the Giants who played with Mike Krukow together back in the 1980s. Now, Kuiper is probably most famous for his home run calls. He likes to say that the home run is outta here, and you'll be very familiar with his home run calls if you watch enough games. So when Buster Posey hits the home run, or Brandon Crawford hits the home run, if you're listening during the time that Kuiper is doing the play-by-play, you might hear him say it's outta here. What do I mean by play-by-play? Now, I forget if I said that Krukow is the guy doing the color commentary, but Kuiper is the guy doing the play-by-play. Kuiper is the guy who has to tell you what play is happening as it's happening, right? The guy hit a single into left field. And then Krukow is the guy, the color commentator, who's going to give you a little commentary and say what's going on from a player's point of view and give a little bit of extra commentary. He doesn't have to tell you exactly what happened, but he can tell you how to feel about it or what to think about it. Kuiper is more of a nuts and bolts kind of guy. He's going to give you the details of what's happening on the field, and Krukow is going to give you what the player might be thinking or some extra thoughts about that, and he might make a joke or say something funny, or he might tell a story or share some memory, right? Now, I'd like to share a memory while we're talking about memories. My father was actually not a very big fan of Mike Krukow, and he represents a certain segment of Giants fans, right? My father knew the game very well. He had been watching baseball for decades, and he was a little bit impatient. You know, he would say, "Tell me about the game, give me the play-by-play." But he thought that Krukow was trying a little bit too hard with some of his jokes. Maybe some of his comments were not very smart, right? And you might read some beat writers who write about the Giants making criticisms of the things that Krukow says. Krukow's really a cheerleader, and he's trying to make people excited about the game and make the basic fans seem welcome, right? So if you don't understand baseball, listening to Krukow is a great way to learn more about it, but some of the old fans might think that he's a little bit too funny, or he's trying too hard to be funny and silly. Okay, what about on the radio side? The two guys that you usually hear on the radio are John Miller, and as I said yesterday, you'll recognize him because he's the bald guy on the team, and finally Dave Fleming. Dave Fleming is often on assignment, as they say. When somebody's on assignment, he has to go do a different game, and Dave Fleming will sometimes call a game for Stanford or another team or another sport, and he's getting lots of great jobs in broadcasting because he's such a good broadcaster. He's the youngest of the team. John Miller, on the other hand, has a lot of experience on the in broadcasting, and he's broadcast for a lot of different teams. But he grew up as a Giants fan, so we're glad that he finally came to the Giants. And the thing that I love about John Miller, he's maybe my favorite of the four broadcasters, is that he's very poetic. And he can speak and speak and speak. Maybe if you've taken one of my classes, you can understand why I might be influenced by a broadcaster who can ramble on and speak a lot. And when he talks about the game, he can really make pictures happen in your mind, and he makes you go there. He brings the game home to you. So I really recommend listening for the poetry of John Miller's delivery, and you have to listen really to the radio to get that. Although sometimes when they do the game on NBC, you'll see John Miller on TV. All right, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time for tomorrow's game.